What up, everybody? Happy Tuesday. I'm Al Mega, CEO of Comic Crusaders, and welcome to the new Comic Crusaders podcast. Today, I'm joined with my homie from the sixth element of hip-hop, the one and only Reno Noir. ¿Qué pasa, hermano?
May the 4th be with you, my brother.
Oh, yes, yeah. May the 4th be with you. So, yeah, man, thanks for hanging out today because we have an amazing guest. And I mean, why not have sixth element of hip-hop comics come onto a show where we have a legend that created, an ill comic book hip-hop theme in comic books.
Yeah, man. Hip-hop comics, a legend.
He a boss for real, man. Is that how you found out about him too, through the hip hop family tree?
Absolutely, yeah, man. I was looking at hip hop and comics and trying to find hip hop related comics, and of course, that's the first thing that popped up and breaks down the history of hip hop just so accurately. It just blew my mind, and yeah, man, I was a fan right off.
Yeah, man. Then he did some work with Marvel and the Grand Design, which was absolutely amazing.
Yeah,
I have the whole run. Anything he does, I gotta have. And then now he got a very sick book coming out by Fancy Graphics, right? This man is amazing. You see his name blasting right there. All right, let's bring him on. It's the one and only Ed Piskor. Wepa, hermano, ¿cómo está?
What's going on, guys? I'm doing this Red Room comic on a monthly basis, right? So that means I have to get about 28 pages done every 30 days. So forgive me if I don't train the camera on me while I'm looking down and drawing. I figured just point the camera at the page, man, and I could multitask very easily. Keep grinding, have a nice conversation.
Amazing opportunity for us to get to watch you work, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely, especially on Red Room. Oh man, what issues are you working on here?
I think this will be like the 7th issue I'm working on. So
wow.
You know what? Let me show you some. I got some pages and shit right here to show off. Let me see. This is some shit I was working on yesterday. Check out that stuff right there.
Oh, so
just rip a dude's face off, cut his arms and legs off. What the hell?
Yeah,
this is going to be like a variant cover for issue 2.
Fire.
It's going to be the cover for issue 4.
Fire.
And oh yeah, this is fly. Let me see. This is the first page, man, of the issue I'm working on.
Golly.
I do this extra process where I scan it in, and then there'll be these gray tones that I add digitally called duotone. So this is kind of an unfinished piece, man, but you get the gist. Like you're gonna have these crazy looking pumpkin hockey masks.
Yeah, you have a twisted imagination, my friend. I love it.
Can I ask you guys? Like, I'm gonna assume that we're peers, not too far from the same ages and stuff. So I have to imagine that you guys would check out stuff at the VHS at the movie store, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
I was an addict.
Prestige Video, man. Anytime I went into that video store, the lady knew what to tell me. Hey, Alex, we got new horror movies.
Yeah, man. Like Renaissance Video, we had it was like a little back door like type of place, and they had all the Wu-Tang movies, all the kung fu flicks. Like I could bring Wu-Tang tapes and just play the clip, and he'd be like, okay, that's that movie, and we'd check it out. Yeah,
love that shit. So I mean, that's the spirit that this comic is made in, man. Like everybody who checked out like the entire horror section of your VHS shop, like that's who this comic is for.
Yeah, we have Lucas Ficino watching. He has a show called It's Drunken Chat, and apparently your book is very spoken about at Red Room. People are digging it within the comic book community, as they should.
Absolutely.
It's a twisted book. But before we get all into that, just a little bit about your history. Again, we were talking about you were doing history of comics and hip hop, and then obviously you do the Grand Design. What's the kind of same vein as history? Where did that passion come from? For you to kind of do your storytelling in that mode, in that fashion.
In like a historical fashion,
yes, in the historical fashion with the comic book twist to it, of course.
Yeah, sure. So I cut my puppy teeth professionally, thanks to this dude named Harvey Piskor, who made a comic called American Splendor.
Legend.
And so the movie was made about him, and then I started sending him some of my own comic books. Just like little strips, 5-pager, 4-pager, stuff like this. Okay. And he was super popular right at that moment because of the movie. So I just got connected with him. He hit me up and had all of this opportunity. So we did a book together called Macedonia about, the Balkan region and the political destabilization of the region. And then we did a book called The Beats, man, that was about like the beatnik generation, Jack Kerouac, Allen Ginsberg, William S. Burroughs. And, you know, that's like 300 pages of historical comics right there. And I was still in that mode. And there's definitely some stuff that I don't see in comics that, you know, would make a good comic. So even before hip hop, I did this strip called WYSIWYG that was about computer hacking, and it was it was fictional, but it was rooted in real life. Like I sort of borrowed the stories of real people to like weave my fictional tale. So that's just like sort of where my interest lies in a way, man. I'm a huge fan of rap music. Wanted to learn a lot more, and basically what the comic is, I was just sharing my discoveries, man. It was like archaeology or something, man. I was just digging in old books, magazines, stuff like that. And when I started to find cool connections, you know, we'll put that together in a comic strip.
That's amazing.
Man,
Well,
that's great. And let me ask you a question. I as Al told you, I got a channel called The Sixth Element of Hip Hop, because comic books, I believe, are the sixth element of hip hop. There's always that connection since the beginning. Yeah. And so when you told me that you were coming on, man, I just had to meet you. How did you? Hip Hop Family Tree is so accurate and so detailed. Like talking to Kool Herc, did you talk to these guys? How did you get these details? Because it's really personal stuff in there.
Yeah, the first book is all like from found sources. Basically, the general consensus of the history of hip hop. But my thought with that was to try to curate all of this information into one place, rather than you have to read 100 issues of Source magazine. You got to watch like the Danish documentaries and shit like this, man. Like, let me go all over the place, try to put this stuff together in like a kind of linear fashion. Because that was something that fascinated me about it too. You know, it was a word of mouth culture, pre-internet. The term viral, you know, if it existed, would have had to have meant like person to person, just straight up word of mouth. And there were other music forms and genres that were sort of around too, that didn't go anywhere, or at least put it this way, they didn't reach the levels that hip hop did. Right. So I wanted to investigate like what were all the circumstances involved to make hip hop like a global phenomenon inside of like 10 years even. But after the first book came out, I started to get more access, started to talk to people. But you know the way hip hop works, man. So everybody created everything, and it was like it was dicey. It was hard to wade through, man. And if I would have made that book when I was 20 years old and having some of these people call me up and tell me, yeah, I invented this, man. Like whatever you read, like later for that. That's nonsense, man, because I created the scratch on a record and all this stuff. And I would have just been like, oh yes, sir. Yes, I will put that in the comic. And you know, it would have been trash. But like started talking to people after that first book.
And you really did your thing, man. It's amazing. For anybody that has not checked that out, if you're into hip hop and comics, man, Hip Hop Family Tree will break down the whole history of the genre in such a great fashion. The artwork is incredible. You really did your thing, man.
What are some of your favorite kind of hip hop comics?
Well, you know, there's not a lot of hip hop comics per se, but there's a lot of hip hop in comics, and there's a lot of comics in hip hop. You know what I mean? Like, for sure, all the rappers' names and album names and song names and lyrics so closely related to comic books. And I was actually reading a Harbinger comic from Valiant, and I saw the character actually quoting a Nas rhyme from Illmatic, word for word. Yeah. And I was like, oh man, like this is really something. There's really hip hop in comics. And so I just wanted to, you know, sort of celebrate that connection.
I still remember this one scene in a Preacher comic where it's Jesse, Custer, Cassidy, and Tulip are in a pickup truck going down the road, and Jesse Custer's putting on some shit kicking hillbilly shit, and Cassidy grabs the knob and he turns it to some, I don't know, some Celtic nonsense or whatever. Yeah. Right. And then Tulip grabs the knob and changes it to a channel, and it starts playing Listen to My 9mm from KRS-One's Criminal Minded BDP album, and she's singing along to it, and they're both looking at her like, what? And of course, to draw that connection, Hip Hop Family Tree style, Axel Alonso was the editor of Preacher at that time, and he's the dude that instituted all the hip hop Marvel covers, and he dug Hip Hop Family Tree, hooked me up with that opportunity with Grand Design and stuff. So he's not faking.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you because Grand Design is another one. I mean, I loved it. I have every issue, but again, I collect anything that you come out with, man. I dig it. So how that app, so it was Axel that got to the app, to do it. I mean, how was that pitch? Because it was really well done. For those that haven't gotten it, you better get into it ASAP.
Yeah, X-Men is my favorite.
Yeah, it's my favorite stuff too. And I don't know, I was just feeling egotistical at the moment, man. And I drew this copy, this image of all the X-Men. It was a time when I spent my entire professional life doing all this other stuff, but what I was interested in when I was a kid was drawing superheroes and junk, man. So just for fun, I took a weekend, and I drew all the X-Men, kind of like all the different lineages, and I like the way it turned out, man. Whenever I finished it, I tweeted it out and just said, Marvel should let me make whatever kind of X-Men comic I feel like making. And then Axel hit me up within the hour and was like, well, what do you want to do? And I really had no idea, had no clue at all, man. I was just kind of being bravado about the shit. And I just said, well, let me, I just fully lied and was like, I have a way to tie the first 300 issues of X-Men together into one cohesive story. And what that really meant was, I just want to draw a little bit of all the stuff I love. Like, let me draw a couple Sabretooth pages. Let me draw some Mr. Sinister pages. You know what I'm saying? Like all the cool shit. Yeah. Let me draw Kitty Pryde when she was in that like rainbow outfit for a couple of pages or something. So what you're looking at when you see X-Men Grand Design is really just me just making money off Marvel, so that I could indulge in drawing fan fiction for a couple of years or something. But the function that had was that basically, like the hip hop comic, it does okay in comic shops, but it has a bigger life outside of comic shops, in record shops, regular bookstores and stuff. Yeah. So that was like
real hip hop does.
Totally. like my thoughts about comics are like, you need to like not just make comics for the people that are already there reading the shit.
Of course.
If you want to like broaden the horizons, man, there's nothing more lame to me than trying to turn comics into poetry, which is like poets write poetry for other poets to read. Like there's like that vein of comics, and that's like, you're not doing anything. It's masturbation.
Yeah.
Right.
So I needed to almost like shake the hands of comics retailers, and that X-Men book is like an introduction of myself to them, because Red Room was always on the horizon. Like I was maybe going to start doing that right after hip hop, before this Marvel opportunity popped up.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a weird comic. You said it yourself, man. There's a lot of unsavory shit in here. Graphic. And I need to introduce myself to the comic shop if I wanted to have any success with it. And right now, I mean, it's a record seller for Fantagraphics, so it sort of did its job. Between cartoonist kayfabe, between the cool ass variant covers that Jimmy Rugg and Peach Momoko drew for me, they goosed the numbers up in a big way, man. I'm super appreciative of that too.
Yeah, somebody mentioned that it was fire.
Right. Oh yeah, cool.
Yeah, Momoko really did a thing.
Yeah, she's dope.
Yeah.
So all right, so what were those inspirations behind this? Look at this awesome first issue cover right there. Sexy ass cover.
Yeah, that's based off of the very first issue of Famous Monsters of Filmland, which is a very important magazine, started coming out in the 50s. Forrest J. Ackerman was the publisher of that stuff. And if you look at that first cover of Famous Monsters, completely red. So, I dig that for the Red Room aesthetic. You have this like fly looking lady with this like dude with a Frankenstein mask standing behind her. And it just looks ominous, man. It looks real freaky.
Wow. It's like a pre-Fangoria magazine.
Oh, totally. Like Fangoria would be inspired by Famous Monsters. Like it would be the same kind of format with the covers where it's like one big striking image. The difference would be, instead of like that Santa Claus episode of Tales from the Crypt getting like the full portrait on the front cover treatment. It would have been like a fly ass painting by Basil Gogos of like Creature from the Black Lagoon or something like that.
Wow.
Okay, let's get into this, bro. Because this Red Room book, bro, I mean, I couldn't drop it. I just kept reading, because this is a double-sized book, right?
Yeah, I was calling it double-sized, but then because I don't really read like many Marvel DC comics, and when I say many, I mean any. I didn't know that comics are 20 pages nowadays, man. So my shit is triple sized.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Truth to that. Absolutely. Una tripleta right there.
62 pages.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a great book for its value. It's definitely a lot of fun. It's again, folks, not for everyone. I think it's a twisted read. So kiddies, but if kids love gore, you know what? I can't even say that. I started watching horror movies at 5 years old. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I was horror early.
I love all this.
Yeah, for sure. And what's funny and what's going to be fun to see, it's going to be a big joke over here, is like they see the front cover, right? And it says all that stuff, rivers of gore, murder on the dark web for fun and profit, something about pornography or something. Yeah.
Illegal acts of pornography and degradation live on webcam.
So you read that stuff, right? And I promise you, there are going to be little bitches that read this and say, like, look at all this shit he put in there. That's foul. This is awful. We need to cancel this dude.
You already know.
And it's like, it's right there on the cover, you weak ass lames.
Yeah, man. These ridiculous cancel culture SJW morons ruining comics and all mediums, hip hop, everything. It's just ridiculous. It's like, look, read the label. If it's got parental advisory, if it's got mature reader, if it's got anything like that on the cover, you can't say nothing.
Yeah, maybe it's not for you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Don't pick it up knowing it's not for you and then bitch about it.
Yeah, it's
that's America. Don't tell everybody what they can read or not read. You know what I mean? If you don't like it.
So you guys got a YouTube channel, you got a podcast and stuff, and we have the cartoonist kayfabe thing going on, and it sort of reminded me of if you ever saw the old Private Parts Howard Stern movie.
Yeah.
When there's a part where he's at WNBC.
Yeah, WN.
and they're trying to kick him out, right? And they're taking a look at the numbers, and it's like, well, the people who like Howard Stern listen for 30 minutes per day. The people who dislike Howard Stern listen for 3 hours per day. And they're just like, why would that be?
Right.
And then, having the YouTube channel stuff, it's like, well, the reason for that is because they're sitting there, they got their little editing shears, and they're waiting for you to slip up and say some dumb shit, you know? So, the lesson with that is just have autonomy over your own stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, publish your own stuff.
Yeah.
The cool thing about Fantagraphics is that, they have fought these fights with Crybabies for about 40 years, man.
Oh, so 40 years of fighting.
40 plus years. So like they don't care. Like, talk your nonsense. Like, we're gonna be doing our stuff. And in the worst case scenario, like say that shit goes south and like, people get cranky too much, then I'll just self-publish and use my YouTube channel and have $1 million Kickstarters. So
why not?
I could give a fuck.
Exactly.
Exactly. Either way, people that want it, and ain't nothing wrong with it. I'm saying it's dark and twisted. I love that kind of shit personally.
Yeah.
Again, so for me, it did bring me back to the old school horror comics I used to read that were kind of gory, so some messed up scenes, because there's definitely tons. You're a very inventive dude when it comes to the stuff that happens. So where did that inspiration come from? That inventiveness of the different varieties of kills, if you will.
Because that's what makes it. I think that's what makes it. Just graphic horror, just blood and guts for the sake of doing it.
Yeah, it's
to
some good
art
horror.
And actually being real, creative, and good. That's
Here's an example, right? Like a dude just got his face peeled back and is hanging there from chains and shit.
Gorgeous. Love the black and white, the detail, amazing.
So, come from the VHS era, come from the Mortal Kombat era. Fatalities, right? You would check the new game to see what the fresh fatalities would be. So we are of the generation, we are desensitized to that stuff, and it's funny to us,
Right.
like I love trauma movies, Toxic Avenger, all that kind of stuff.
Man, I saw that. I love that movie as a kid. My father told me, "Hey, what is this trash?" Okay, but Dad, let's just watch it. He was laughing throughout the whole movie. He let me watch it. Now, when that movie came out, I must have been 11, 12 years old. He let me watch it. There's titties galore and that was going on here. But that was toxic. I was desensitized. Yeah, man.
Whenever we got our first card to a video store, it was like a little mom and pop shop here in town, and they had the big ass poster for Toxic Avenger, and we walked in, and I remember seeing that, like, Dad, I think I have to see that. And he looked at it and was like, you know what, I think I have to see that too.
Oh, cool.
And that might have been one of the very first movies we ever rented, man.
My first VHS rental when my parents finally bought a VCR was when Lethal Weapon just came out. Because the video store just opened up around the corner finally too. And that's when the whole relationship began. I'm renting movies like Lunch Meat, Cannibal Holocaust and all that, which you happen to mention in the book hysterically.
Yes. That's an important Piskor family movie. In fact,
he said Piskor family movie.
That's great that your dad and your family watched those with you. I grew up and we always used to watch horror movies, and one day I was talking to my dad about one, and I'm thinking he loved them. I'm like, yeah, you love these. He's like, no, I really didn't like that stuff. I'm like, but we always used to rent it. He's like, that was you.
That's a cool dad. He hooked you up, and he endured it because he
let
knew
me embrace
we're digging that shit.
See, I was smart. I would rent 2 horror movies, but get an action movie to be the filler in between for him.
Right.
And he was a happy camper. All right.
Yeah. My dad's sci-fi. He's like all sci-fi. But I was in the horror big time. Of course, I'm more sci-fi now, but yeah. There
was like a little text thread on my phone for it was like 2 years ago, and I have I'm 38, but I have a kid sister, man, who was in high school, and the text thread was I was trying to find who had my copy of Cannibal Holocaust specifically.
Oh, really?
And we're all going back like, no, I borrowed it, but I gave it to Bob, my brother, and he gave it to. It ended up, man, my baby sister had the shit, and her and her friends were watching Cannibal Holocaust, and I just like screen grabbed the text for keeps, because that's the Piskor siblings, man. It's like
too funny.
A 20-minute conversation about where my copy of Cannibal Holocaust is.
Are you guys gonna bronze it? It's gonna be the heirloom.
It's a bootleg too, man. Like if you remember, there was a while.
What other way can you get it back then?
Exactly,
dude. Come on, man. I grew up in New York, so 42nd Street.
Yeah,
the pre-Giuliani 42nd Street. I'm talking about. Where as a kid, you were 13 years old, you could walk into a karate store and come out with ninja stars and throwing blades and all this shit, and then on the corner you buy all the bootleg porns and karate movies.
40 deuce.
We would get here in Pittsburgh. There was like a circuit of like barbershop hustler dudes who would just like push a cart full of CDs and VHS tapes and stuff. And when I would see them go from barbershop to barbershop, I would just scoop up the latest tapes, and it would be those old school bootlegs that would be like in the theater that look like MST 3000. Yeah, you see heads at the bottom. Whenever the funny moment happens, you hear the whole theater laugh and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro, those were good days, man. I remember that too, because we would have the bootleggers come into the diners, and then you hear the diner dude, "Hey, yo, get the fuck out of here! No soliciting." But I'm over here like, wait a minute, let me see what he got.
Yeah.
Shit, I'm bored. I need a movie, bro. Back in the day, that's what it was, bro. And even bootleg mixtapes, remember?
For sure, man. That was like how. People would resolve differences, man, on those mixtapes because they wouldn't save it for the record.
Yeah.
Especially if you weren't popular enough. Like if it was a battle between two dudes where one guy was like obviously way more popular, why would he ever say your name on his record, man?
Yeah.
Like let's just stick to the little Magnavox tapes and shit.
Oh my God, the Magnavox. Oh wow. Man, great shit. Yeah, bro. I used to get the Maxwells at the bodega. for like
Number
50
X.
cents a pop, the 60 minutes.
Yeah, the TDKs. Yeah.
Oh shit, yeah, TDKs, bro.
Mhm.
Absolutely. So with Red Room, man, what's popping? Is it going to be a continuing, ongoing series within Fancy Graphics, or what? Because you said it's a number one.
Yeah, it's a monthly comic book. So like I said, this is like
nice.
the seventh issue, but it's going to be these waves of 4 issues and then collected into a book. So there'll be
Nice.
4 issues of Red Room, the Antisocial Network.
Nice.
And then there'll be another 4 issues of the next kind of miniseries. Now here's the deal though. Every issue completely self-contained.
Yeah, it is.
It's a story unto itself. It's a whole piece.
Old school. Love it. That's what I'm saying. You brought an old school approach to it, which I definitely appreciate.
It's just looking at comics, looking at the stuff on the racks, and dealing with my own grievances rather than, as we were talking about earlier, man, the little crybaby bitches that, like flex the Twitter fingers or something like that, which is like easy to do.
Twitter
like, how about you make a comic and address the stuff that you think is corny? So like stretching out one simple idea for a comic story across 6 issues is whack as hell to me, man. It's taking a bunch of your money and giving you just morsels of the bigger whole, and it's like you need to give satisfying chunks, man.
Yeah, just little cliffhanger.
Agreed.
Yeah, and like, I mean, even if it's a cliffhanger, sometimes it's like 10 minutes of time happen within a 20-page comic, and it's just like, come on, man.
All that in 10 minutes?
yeah, you need to have something more substantial, and that's what this is, man. So these are like, the way I describe it is like, imagine if like Black Mirror, like every episode happened within the same universe. So there's a set of rules to this world, but there are individual episodes that don't necessarily fit into the very next one. But when you read them all together, it kind of like gives you a broader understanding of the universe that these characters live in. All that said, I might do extra stories with some of the same characters. It's just a different moment in their lives, a different progression. And there is a progression. It's not like, a Marvel or DC book where it's the same. The character is the same at the beginning and the end. Like nothing really changes. It just kind of creates an impression of change. Stuff happens here, man.
Oh yeah, there's definitely a lot of change in this mofo. Holy smokes! It's sick. It's right up my alley. It's a full story, like you said. A lot of things happen, so you did create a universe, if you will. So there's a lot of people to meet and say goodbye to.
yeah, for sure. And that's what that first issue was about too, man. It was about introducing you to the universe, man, and letting you know what a big chunk of the rules are, so that when you read future stories, like you kind of know, you have some general idea of like of this world that these people live in.
Yeah, man, you got this little character named Horace. Oh man, what a little bastard.
Yeah, man.
And I love the splatterpunk, cyberpunk aspect to it. I love cyberpunk, post-apocalyptic type stuff, man. It's great. And I love this Wolverine homage cover variant that you got.
Oh yeah, that Sam Keith stuff, man.
Yes,
like
man. Nice.
I'll never forget the first time I saw that cover out in the wild and just could not believe how, because that Wolverine was like off model. Like it wasn't like Wolverine as you've seen before, but it was actually way cooler.
Yeah.
Than your average Wolverine that you were seeing.
Yeah, and we are mesmerized right now watching you work, man. You make it look so easy. This guy is phenomenal. The detail is bananas.
It might be hard to see with the blue line, but actually, what this whole scene is, it's a boyfriend and girlfriend set of graffiti artists.
Okay.
And like when I was a kid, I used to paint. I was not good at all, but I used to go out and paint trains like a couple times a week, all the time.
Hip-hop, baby.
And one of my big fears when I was out there, certainly when I was practicing in kind of isolated places where you knew that the cops weren't going to show up and you could actually try to learn something. You're in a place that legitimately would be, a good place to hide a body. And I always was in fear that I would be out there when a couple of guys were roughing somebody up or fucking somebody up or dumping a body or something.
See something you're not supposed to.
Exactly. So basically, I'm putting that fear down on the page here. It's going to be like a 2-page sequence where like these kids are painting graffiti, and then they hear something happen, and they're like, "What the fuck?" And then they look in between two freight trains, and they see this gun pointed to this dude's head, who's been obviously beat the fuck up, and he will get killed on the next page. And once again, that's just like one of my big fears.
And I'm pretty sure that death will be very gloriously gory.
Yeah.
You don't shy away from the brains, boy.
Yeah, I have the splatter toothbrush right here.
Oh, shit. There we go.
That's your exit wound brush right there.
The exit wound. You should call it that. What is this? This is called the exit wound.
That could be a business opportunity. Like, just buy a bunch of these Oral B's, put them in a poly bag, and bring them to conventions and sell them for extra money. Like, this is an exit wound brush. It's a new art tool.
You know what? Just shave it just a little bit. Change it just a little bit enough.
Dip it in ink, man. Dip it in ink so that it's black. I don't think I ever saw a black toothbrush before.
Right.
It's true. Now you got us thinking.
I know.
And unfortunately, because I smoked prior to this, you really got me kind of now curious. I'm gonna have to Google search this later.
Charcoal.
Yeah, man. So, okay. So you said inspired by early VHS. Man, is there what was one of your favorites other than the Cannibal Holocaust? Because is it still from that VHS universe?
Yeah, sure. Like, I love Hellraiser.
Oh yeah, defo. Frank, big Frank.
Yeah, man. I got
all the big ones. Like, sick. Yeah, that's rad, man. Whenever McFarlane was putting out all those figures, see that's another instance of like the crazy Piskor family, because my sister was a little baby when the Leatherface figure and Freddy Krueger and Jason came out, and I had to get her those for like her 3rd birthday.
You'll love this one.
That's money, man.
Sexy.
That's money.
And the detail is amazing. And even his little implements, they're actually hanging on his belt loose. I mean,
cool.
Incredible
That's
detail.
Is that McFarlane?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. He was thorough. Did they make the other Cenobites?
I have not seen them. I wanted to find like at least Chatterer, but
I think he did. I think I saw a Chatterer figure once.
Yeah.
Because the question would be, the real question is, like, there's that bald-headed lady without the pins in her head, but she's got that vagina on her neck, and I wonder if that would actually be on the toy and be in Toys R Us.
The one that was smoking through her throat, that one?
Yeah, man.
Well, that was hilarious. Okay, so if you like that, please tell me you like Nightbreed.
Like Clive Barker's the shit.
Yeah, thank you. That was my joint, bro.
Candyman.
Oh, man. Are you excited for the new film?
In a used bookstore.
Oh, you found it.
This is Nightbreed. Yes. Nightbreed's based on this book, Cabal.
Yeah, man.
It is deep.
Yeah, beautiful. Really, really good. He's a big influence. So, like, he did the thing that sort of made him popular initially was called the Books of Blood. And there were so many of those short stories in the Books of Blood were adapted into film. Mm-hmm. So, like, Mystery Meat Train with Bradley Cooper.
Yeah, I like that damn movie.
Yeah, that was in the book. Lots of good stuff, and a lot of that shit was adapted into comics with like Eclipse Comics and Epic Comics. Tapping the Vein.
Yes. Great series. I had those.
One
Prestige
of the gnarly
formats.
Exactly, man. One of the gnarly strips in there, man. And I was always wondering, like, how could you even visualize this? It was in that first Books of Blood. Well, actually, the book that we got collected 3 volumes of the Books of Blood. So, anyhow, there was a story about this like far off town, in like Russia or something, and these tourists are kind of wandering through, and they just hear like the Jurassic Park, like the drink is vibrating because they hear the of like footsteps, and there would be this like 100-year tradition between these two towns where they would 100% of the people in the town would kind of like climb on top of each other and create these like Mazinger, gargantuan kaiju bodies, man. But it would be made of the townspeople, and it would be one town versus the other, and they would like fight each other, and that was so insane to read. But then it's like, how could they possibly visualize that? And if you look at those Tapping the Vein books, the art is incredible, man. They just like essentially draw a really cool looking behemoth monster and then draw little bodies inside to like make it up.
Yep. He's absolutely right. I think Hans was a homie. Shout out was he could attest. I was a big Clive Barker fan, getting anything Clive Barker related, even the epic Nightbreed series and the comics and whatnot. Boom, did some noise and stuff not so long ago, which is great. And we have questions here because somebody first asked, "Do you still have some of your old tags when you were bombing?"
I don't think so. Okay. I don't think so. I do have flicks and stuff, but I wouldn't show those to anybody because it's trash, man. Like everybody would be like, man, yeah, you should stick to comics.
Oh shit. And then someone says, do you have plans to release your own figures? Yeah, since Red Room definitely has a cast of characters that I see that very, very feasible.
Your boy with the card symbols on his face.
Poker face, man.
Poker face, man.
Bro.
Is there any inspiration from Wu-Tang when he pulls the tongue out and stabs it with the
yes, right.
The rusty screwdriver? Wow. Like
there absolutely is, man. That was definitely on my mind.
Nice.
That exact piece, man. But
nice.
Manufacture my own figures. I just don't know about that, man. That seems like that would take a lot of extra time. But
I'd buy them.
I would make some deals.
I'd buy them.
Make some deals. Obviously the first step is got to make the comic as popular as possible.
You're on your way, bro. You're on your way. Come on, bro. It's you, kiddo.
I think so. The first issue we sold a lot of copies, so now I have to make sure that the stores actually sell them. The way it works for me and for like the creative people involved is the store is our customer, right? Like they buy our shit,
right?
So now talking with you guys, getting the word out, I'm trying to make sure that the stores sell their copies and they're not sitting on stuff, you know, like that these are collecting dust or whatever, man. And I think these will move.
Yeah. So I was wondering if you create personalized comics.
Does that mean like autobiographical, or like they commission something and then I draw something for them?
I would assume a commission, yeah.
Not really. Like I put all my time into this, and like I said, man, doing this monthly thing, there's like very little time for anything else.
So, or is this your first time really hitting it hard like this on a monthly?
On a monthly, yeah, for sure. But it's still the same schedule I always had in a way. Like 2020 didn't affect me professionally in any way because I was designing 2020 to be a production year anyhow. Yeah, I totally do not take that for granted at all. So I just was on the grind. Like COVID provided the excuse to not really fuck with people too much and hang out and draw comics for a whole year. So I built up a little cushion for when we start putting these out, and I should be able to hit all my marks.
Excellent. It was a fun time with the COVID in a sense where you no longer had to use the excuse, oh, I'm tired or I have a headache. Bro, it's COVID out there. You want me to get sick? The primary excuse. Let me start working. Okay. And she said, yes, short autobiographical comics. She meant.
I do those, and I have a full book that's completely finished that I solicited a while back, but then I took it off the shelf just because I started to get shy about it. So I decided that it'll be like a posthumous like Tupac album. Like whenever I die, it'll be published.
Okay, you have it at the helm like that. When I pass, make sure it comes out the next day. All right.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Oh man, that's crazy. It's kind of sick that you think that way. All right. All right. So we will get this at Fancy Graphics, and you're saying you're gonna release this at, you said 4 times a year, leading to a graphic. So that's 5 books a year. So what's the release? No.
So here's how it'll work. Okay. It's going to be a monthly comic. So
it is monthly. Okay.
So this month, in a couple of weeks, issue 1 comes out. Next month, the 19th. Yep. Yeah. Next month, another issue. Month after that, another issue. Month after that, another issue. Month after that, trade paperback.
Okay.
Might let that live on the shelf for 2 months all by itself.
Okay.
And then like October, the next round of 4 is going to come out.
Okay.
Yeah. And you can pre-order all the variants and all that on thirdEyeComics.com as well.
Yeah, for sure,
Let's
for
see,
sure. And
yeah.
that's another cool thing that happened, man. A bunch of stores kind of came out of the woodwork and were like, "I'll order 1,000 copies. Like, can you
Wow.
draw a fresh cover?" And who am I
Ooh.
to say no, man? That's a heck of an investment.
Oh heck yeah, it is.
Yeah,
But you
man.
see, man, that'll test, man. Woo! I can't wait because this is definitely gonna be on my pull list. And folks, look, check. Oh, and before we even go, bro, your channel, people have gone nuts over it. You're a boss, man. How's that journey on that?
It's real good. You know, I was talking with Jim earlier, man. Like it's like one of the smartest things that we've ever done for like our own personal business, probably ever. Because like everything I've ever done is just like intuitive and just kind of like doing whatever I want to do, and things work out. But
Great.
having a YouTube channel and kind of creating a little community around it has been rewarding in a million different ways beyond just kind of like promoting our stuff and getting the word out. Like there are
Big
people
facts.
who are in the fan community there, and like we'll say something like, "Man, there should be an Image Grand Design where you take all the original Image comics
Oh shit! Stop it.
and tie them together." And then a year goes by, you know, everybody's locked down with COVID, and like I don't know, 50, 60 guys got together and made Image Grand Design and told the story in a bootleg fashion.
Wow.
Like that shit is cool as hell, man.
Wow. Oh man. Geez, bro, you got me now salivating for that, right? We don't
Yeah,
but
bro.
shit. I would love to see that. Hell, fix the image that way we could get some old school shit back. I know hey, some people didn't like it. I enjoyed it for the time because now those books are so highly sought after. It's so funny. Complain, and then I need it in my collection though.
They should be easy to find. I mean, there were like millions of them shits.
A lot of them, yeah. But it's
but
the conditions now because a lot of people did use a lot of that for toilet paper apparently back in the day.
You know, those guys never didn't get dissed, man. Like whenever I went to art school, the kids that I went to school with, they would just be like, McFarlane, Rob Liefeld, those guys are shit. It's such garbage. But like the comics they were messing with were like Fathom. And I'm just like, this is just the same thing, man. This is just a different dude, but it's all the same comics. It's all surface level. It's all Flash. It's all kind of like what they identify as cool drawings.
Yeah, I always loved Liefeld and McFarlane's art. But you know, the early stories in Image weren't the best, but the art was always amazing.
There were no stories like
but it was it was the era of the artist though, you know, they were rock stars at the time. That was that
every
era.
page was like a cover.
Yeah.
Totally. There's got to be some happy medium there, man, where like you can make these like very visually cool looking pages, but actually also tell a cool story. Because like that, I feel like that's what's lacking in that mainstream space right now. Is like it's so writer driven. Yeah, and it looks static and freaking boring as hell, man.
Yes. Agreed. There's a lot of books like that. You know, you can't have a complete something that feels complete. Somebody did ask when you do release this in the graphic format, will it be in hardcover?
The trade paperbacks are going to be soft cover, but I imagine at the end of the journey there will probably be a big like sexy collection that has
an omnibus.
I don't know, rub the blood or something like that, man.
Ooh. Smell the copper, right? Scratch and sniff. Smell the blood. That's actually not a bad idea. Old school scratch and sniff. You remember those, bro?
I'm about to write that down and see if we can accomplish that in our factories in China where these books get printed up.
Why not? Scratch and sniff. All you gotta do is smell like copper. Yeah, it's like, oh shit, it's nasty.
That would be dope. Yeah, man.
And a person is very happy and says nice that, you know, definitely would wait for the hardcover because this is my boy Hans that only collects hardcovers.
Oh, cool.
He only likes them hard. That's what she said, right?
Pause.
So we had Hip Hop Family Tree on Free Comic Book Day. Will you do any free comic book days with Red Room?
Oh, yeah, we have one coming up. I guess Free Comic Book Day is in August this year.
August, yes.
Oh man.
And the cool thing about the Red Room Free Comic Book Day is that it's going to be all original material. So,
it is. Oh, so
shit.
It's
nice.
There'll
I
be
gotta get this.
It'll be sick. It's the best comic I ever made, and it's going to cost you $0.00.
Wow.
So I'm really looking forward to that coming out, and you know, it's five separate stories, short stories. You know, between six and like I think 9 pages. 33 pages of stuff. There's a full color story that's done to look like a really sick, like almost like a kids comic. It's almost like a Stand By Me type story.
Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, it's going to come out. I guess Free Comic Book Day is August, so that's when that'll see the light of day. And that was an important thing whenever I connected with Fantagraphics. This is a weird comic, so I have to do everything I can to get the word out. I asked them, man, can I get a Free Comic Book Day comic? It'll be a great introduction, and the stories will be, they're still hardcore, but I gave myself that mandate to make them kind of like PG in a way. So it's not gore. It's like
it's softer.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, for the
more psychological.
It's a little softer. It's a little softer.
Psychological, we call that.
Okay, more head trauma as opposed to gut wrenching gore. Excellent. They think it's fire. Everybody's saying you are on fire, homie. But it's just the truth.
Yeah, hopefully we can help. Promote this and get it out there, get the word out, man, and get people, and if I'd love to have you on Hip Hop and Comics Show too. You want to, to promote as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. One of the things that we're doing is we're putting all the stuff back in print because over 2020, we pretty much sold out of most of our reserves of like the Hip Hop Family Tree box sets and stuff. So, I mean, we were going to reprint it anyhow, but now the Red Room's coming out. We want to have the full library of like all my stuff out there.
Man, the Piskorverse.
And if you're cool with it, man, whenever that stuff gets reprinted, like it would be awesome to pop up on your channel and talk to you about that stuff, because we have a lot of stuff to say, man. Could talk about Break the Chain, the KRS-One Marvel comic, for like 10 hours probably.
Oh
yeah, bro. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, forgot about that. Yeah.
The steward is wondering here, one of our guys, how long does it take you to do do your work on a comic? Since you're on issue 7 now, so like, how long before the release of 1 were you already working on it?
Well, number 1 was done like a year ago.
Oh, wow.
So I was working on that, in 2019 even. I don't know. I think it takes me like maybe 6 to 8 weeks to make a comic.
Okay.
Something like that. With this kind of thing, you're not being so precious. You're being a little bit whimsical, and it's supposed to be a little raw, so it doesn't have to look like Brian Bolland or anything like that.
Bro, but your work is amazing, because it stood out to me. I see it's very strong art, bro. I mean, I think it is, like you said, some of your best work for real, because again, the fan of the Hip Hop Family Tree, I've seen the growth, and I'm like,
big
it's
step
amazing
up
to see that here, yo.
Yeah,
I mean, again, me and Rena were talking prior, like, yo, this is wild. I mean, the first thing I said when we popped up in the window was like, yo, well, on that a sick book, we just both laughed, like, it's insane.
Yeah,
like, we missed this. We come from the same gen, as you said.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, and the art, like the art has been getting better. If I just consider myself a student of comics. Like I'm on the road to like try to grow up and become a master someday or something, man. But until that day, I'm Beatrix Kiddo. You know what I'm saying? I'm not Pai Mei.
Word. No, you living the dream, man. You are living the dream.
Yeah, man, and doing fantastic work. All right, because I know, listen, he's busy. He's got to get this issue done. I don't want to take too much more of his time. But look at that
gnarly face we're working on right there.
Whoa, bro, that poor guy who never even, that dentist is salivating. Like, damn, I could have made money off of him. Too bad.
Yeah, that's goddamn right. He's got that Pittsburgh mouth.
Oh shit, bro.
the Monongahela River mouth.
The Mononga. Oh shit, bro. That needs to be somewhere in the book. You should call a character Mononga in the book. Oh no. No, look, people are like, me not working because I'm mesmerized.
Yeah, that's a fun thing. Like on the Kayfabe channel, I often do these live streams and stuff, and there are a lot of makers that come through and just hang out. Like one of the things that I did definitely have to sacrifice with COVID was I have people come to the studio all the time to hang out and draw with me and shit like that. So obviously I didn't have any of that. And I presume that that's the same deal with a lot of people who shared studios and things, man. So this is like second nature to me, man, to pop on the cam, hang out, shoot the shit. And people pop up in the chat room and stuff, and it's the same deal. There are animators, there are people making comics as well, seasoned professionals, and outlaw comics legends will pop in. So it's real fun. We're all doing what we can to have some sense of community and conversation in these crazy times. And frankly, I got to thank you guys a lot for taking the time to hang out with me today.
Oh, man, it was an honor, actually. Again, you're a legend, a big fan of all your work, and again, this is another one on the pull list for me, kiddo.
We're not worthy.
Yeah, exactly. There's another one. So again, I guess I'm gonna have to drop a title because I need this in my life.
Facts, big facts.
For real, man. Again, I'm not while I love digital, there ain't nothing better than holding a book in your hand.
This is made to be tactile too, man. Like we make a fuss about the kind of paper we use and like the cover stops.
What paper did you use here? Yeah. What type? Did you go old school or you use that glossy?
No glossy. No glossy. I think of, if you ever seen issues of Sin City,
yes,
where it has that kind of cardstock cover. It's kind of a matte, like even the cover is not glossy,
right?
And the paper is
got a thickness.
Yeah, it does, and it's not quite. It's not glossy, but it's not newsprint either, because we need. Because there is color to this comic, and we need a paper that holds color real well. So it's a tactile thing. It will not look or feel like any of those other comics that will be around it on the racks, man. Like guaranteed.
Yeah, no, I know just what you mean. That's a great medium. It's a great format.
That's awesome. Yeah, folks. So check it out for one last time here, folks. So what you do, you got to follow Ed on social. Twitter is right there, Instagram, Facebook, and his Patreon. Show some love, man. Actually, with that, I want to ask you on that too. So what's up with the Patreon when people join that?
Yeah, I just slide out the comics ahead of time. So
okay,
$3 gets the whole archive. I have 3 issues up there right now. I put out new pages every Tuesday, and that's just for the early adopter who sort of can't wait wants to read the, like, if they want to read Red Room issue 1 right this minute. They don't necessarily want to invest in like the physical comic. Like $3, pop on Patreon, read the thing, cancel your subscription right then, and you will have experienced it.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. And then obviously show love to the publisher of this amazing book, Fancy Graphics. They willing to take chances on awesome stuff. So thank you, Fancy Graphics, for having courage.
You can't disable the power of my label.
Yeah, kiddo. Wherepa, that's right. And then, follow Ed's YouTube right there. All right. And of course, you can actually order Red Room right now, available for pre-order. FancyGraphics.com, Red Room #1. And of course, you can follow us, ComicCrusaders.com. You know how it goes and everything, Comic Crusaders. And Reno, let them know where we can follow
Sixth Element of Hip Hop. Sixth Element of Hip Hop on YouTube. We got Instagram, Twitter, we everywhere.
Excellent. But
and every Monday at 6:30 p.m. we do a great live show and called Hip Hop and Comics. We have all kinds of guests. And this Monday coming up, we got Jimmy Palmiotti coming on.
And Amanda Connor. Is Amanda coming too?
I don't know if Amanda's coming. I'm not sure. But
ask them. You get her on too, man. They're coming out with the Invincible Red Sonja. I jokingly call them the Jay-Z and Beyonce of comics because they are a power couple. Right. With paper films, Jimmy does his thing on the indie side too, and he delivers.
They've been going strong for a long time too, man. Like since I was in art school. Hey Reno, have you ever had DJ Scheme Richards from Philadelphia come through your channel, man?
No. He
would be a cool ass dude, man, to get on there because he's the nostalgia king, man. Like he's all about old comics. Old anime, kung fu movies, Skeme, and then last name Richards from Philadelphia. In a perfect world, you could have Scheme and myself on there, and we could hold it down for all of Pennsylvania. He's on the east, I'm on the west, and
that'd be bananas, yo.
He's super thorough.
All right, well, I guess I can get your email from Al, probably, right, Al?
Well, I'll hook you up with Hannah and we work from there. No problem.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, man, because Hannah hooked us up. So shout out to Hannah as well for reaching out, yo. All right there. And, Tigress put it up. DJ Scheme Richards typed it up. So definitely we're gonna go after that and talk to Homie. But again, folks, just follow, pre-order the book. This is amazing. Ed, again, thank you for your damn. Look at that. From when we started, we saw nothing, and now look at Homie, bro. He got
makes it look easy. It's amazing.
Yeah, bro. I love it, man. And a true creator, bro. I mean, he handling everything over here. Look at it. It's wonderful. As he talks to us.
That's gotta me out. Yeah.
Gotta spin many plates, man, to make these comics on that monthly schedule. And I'm telling you, like if I was one to imbibe in alcohol, I would also, while drawing, I would, step on grapes and make some wine too, man. Like just make excellent use of the time as much as possible. That
would be a great torture, but instead of grapes, it's nails, and make them dance, Emma, for dance.
There's that one image in that first issue of Red Room where that clown guy yanks out that dude's eyes and just like smacks the eyes together, turns them to jelly.
You are a bastard for that, because I fucking hate anything associated with eye shit. That's the only thing on earth that will make me cringe.
Me too. Like basically that's how it works, man.
You're a masochist then. He did it on purpose to make himself sick, because I couldn't take it. Yeah. Oh man, I was rubbing my eyes after that. Like,
anything that creeps me out, like I basically just daydream until I'm like, ugh. And even sometimes on the streams, man, when I'm hanging out with people, I'll just be like, oh, this is like disgusting. Sometimes when I'll put that spatter down and look at it, and I just start thinking about it, just like, ugh.
More detail. Fuck? Yeah. How much more sicker can I make it after that, though?
Yeah. In film school, we learned about this like this old movie. Like the first time it's like a horror movie, and they took a cow's eyeball and sliced it open with a razor.
Yeah,
but they made it look like
fuck.
That was Salvador Dali was a part of that film, actually. Yes. Benuel was the director. I don't know how to say it. It's like Achien Andalo or something like that. Some kind of weird
name
French
butcher too. Listen, when we come from the Northeast like that, up north, we're name butchers. I'm sorry, it's what we do.
Especially when you start coming at me with some French stuff. Come on, now. I don't even think we have a French person in Pittsburgh.
Holy shit, bro. They know to stay away. That's all. They know better. Oh, shit. All right. Again, I'm Al Mega with Real Noir and the legendary Ed Piskor. Ed, thank you. God bless. Yo, we got you on your journey. You got our support. I know everybody in the chat. Thanks for tuning in. Nikki, Stuart, Tigress, Hans,
McTakala.
Ed, McTakala. Vamos, wepa. Salute everybody. With that, hasta la próxima, mi gente. You know how we go. Love you, and we check you out real soon, bro. Gotta roll the Mars, bro.
Thank you. We hope you've enjoyed this Comic Crusaders production. For real-time news on all things pop culture, please feel free to follow us on social media. For articles, original content, merchandise, and more, please go to www.comiccrusaders.com. Also follow along with all of the websites of the Comic Crusaders family. As always, if you like this content, please click like and subscribe to the Comic Crusaders YouTube channel.